Podcast.
Digitized live from the ACT Computer Studios in Cape Coral, Florida, it's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5? Sorry for the delayed start there. The soundboards that had everything but the theme song were loaded, and I had to wait for this one to load, which took an inordinate amount of time for some reason. But anyhow, we're here. It's Tuesday, and we're back to share with you what's in our heads. And if you guys want to share with us what's in your head, please head over to Facebook or even YouTube and click on the video and join us via the chat channel. Morgan Long, OG5, original OG5 is already checking in. Hopefully you guys can hear us all right. We're having a little mixing level issue, but we're all good now. Gordon, how are you doing tonight, friend?
Sorry, I'm kind of futzing.
You weren't like that 5.5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I just finished off some beef jerky, and it's Thai Hot number 10.
That's why you don't eat before the show.
That's okay. Good stuff, though. Local company. Yeah, if anybody's ever been to a Thai restaurant, you know the number 10's the hottest one you can get. And, well, I'm a glutton.
So is that universal across the Thai board?
I believe so. I'm sure there's going to be some variation from restaurant to restaurant. But,
what if I'm like at a Thai restaurant in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi?
Well, you would order like a number 1, so, you know.
What's a number 1 at a Thai restaurant?
Probably not hot at all.
I think the last time we went to a Thai restaurant, we were in Kentucky with Carrie's aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoyed it. I think we looked for 1 or 2 down here and maybe went once. And it's just, we don't have enough of them down here to think about going to it all the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like it because it clears out the sinuses.
So does whiskey.
So does, well, I've got tea today. I'm teetotaling, I guess. Yes, I'm a teetotaler today.
You know what the T in teetotal stands for?
People who only drink tea?
No. Let me learn you something. That's what I always thought, too.
People who don't consume alcoholic beverages?
You got to remember, sometimes people aren't as witty as we give them credit for. The T in teetotaler stands for the letter T, preferably capital. Because how it started out is the teetotalers are the people who are all for getting rid of alcohol. What was the women's, what group are they called? Google that.
Suffragettes.
Yeah. They originally started out under the guise of moderation. You can drink, but drink in moderation, because their whole thing was, and rightfully so, I get it, at the time, alcohol abuse was bad. The economy sucked. Just coming out of the Dust Bowl,
It's 2022 and it seems similar.
Guys who were working for their paycheck, things sucked so bad that they would take what little money they had and they would go spend on booze and get drunk, sometimes beat their wives and kids. And so these women blamed a lot of their life's problems, and some of them rightfully so, on alcohol and their drunk husbands. But when they first started, their whole thing was moderation. Nothing wrong with alcohol, just got to do it in moderation. You can't be getting drunk all the time. Moderation.
Nothing wrong with that.
Moderation didn't work, at least in their eyes. So T stands for total abstinence. Abstain from it totally. So they went from moderation to total T with a capital T. We are teetotalers. So that's what the capital T, total, abstain from it. And so that's where it actually came from. It's basically their way of putting a punctuation on totally quit drinking. Rid it from your family, rid it from your lives, and dedicate your life to God. Yada, yada, yada. So that's how that whole thing came to be.
And then they got their hooks into Westerville, Ohio.
So after 18 long years of working for myself independently with a short hiatus of 6 years of working in the radio station, I still worked primarily by myself. I have closed the business, and I am just completed day 2 of my new job and my new career, and things are going well. As we were talking about before, and Henry and I, we really went off the World War II sled last night because Jeff wasn't around and our guest had to reschedule. So Henry and I were just shooting the shit before we got into the World War II stuff. And I was explaining to him the conversation you and I had when I decided to start looking for a career. Talking about how, I'm 43 years old. I'm not getting any younger. I could probably drag this on for another 10 years. And then where will I be? I'll be 53 with no plans, no money, nothing. And so if I'm going to make a career change, now's the time to do it. And you being in the job you have, the type of guy who often hires people and looks at resumes, you warned me, hey, there's a lot of people out there going to steer away from someone who's ran their own business for 18 years because sometimes they bring their own baggage and their own ego with them. Rightfully so. And I told you, yeah, but I'm hoping, I'm praying. Hold on a minute. Kids
Shut
in
the door,
background.
please.
Did that come through the mic even though it was muted?
No, I was reading your
my
lips.
But I was kind of hoping that maybe with all the 20 and 30-year-olds quitting their job during the Great Resignation and then going online and bragging about it, that maybe employers would maybe temporarily be kind of putting a little extra emphasis on us old people with work ethic.
I don't think you're wrong. Don't think you're wrong at all.
And I went on one application website, put out my resume, and I originally just did the computer stuff. I just worked at computers from this point, still there. Put out for a week, didn't really get any hits. I'm like, well, this sucks. So I went back and I added a radio station and I added the 4 years that I built ambulances, just to show my experiences in other realms. And the very next day I got an email. Guy asked if I could do an interview. I said, sure, I'll come by tomorrow. Later that day, I got another email. Company down in Naples wanted to know if I could do an interview. I said, sure. So that Friday, I did 2 interviews, and I really liked the morning job. Guy relocated. He's a managed service provider. Basically do same stuff I do, but they don't do the legacy-style computer repair. They don't do break fix. They don't come show up at your office and hook up monitors and, install printers. That low-paying stuff. They're all about internet
Online.
security, Exchange, 365, managing your network, rolling out updates, making sure you're virus-free, providing VoP services, and just full-blown managed services. And they got clients all over the country. They just relocated the central office. They were in California. They moved down here. And I really liked that guy. And I was like, well, this is probably going to be the closest environment to what I've been working in the last 18 years.
Right.
But I had an interview. I did a phone interview with a medical place down in Naples. And the pay was a little higher, but I had a 45-minute drive each way. And it was at a doctor's office. And I'm like, that's going to be way more corporate than I want to deal with.
Right.
And so I decided to accept the first interview, and then I canceled the other 3 interviews I had lined up. So anyhow, guy gave me 3 weeks to close down my business and finish up what I needed to do, and he waited for me and went and started yesterday, did a lot of training videos and learning their systems. And he just hired a guy named Dan, too. And he moved down here in 2021. He had a couple employees that are older. One of them had to move back home because he had to take care of his mom, and another one got an opportunity doing something else. And so he brought Dan and I in. Dan's been working there for 3 weeks now.
Wait. So there are 2 new guys. Both names begin with D.
Yep,
and both go
Dan
by
and Don. And
3-letter name.
And back to my previous point,
Double D.
Dan is like 48. So not
really?
only did he hire 2 guys, he hired 2 older guys, once again, maybe with my whole thing about...
Well, work ethic's probably a whole lot better and a lot less whiny.
Yes. And so, anyhow, today was the first day that I really started working on tickets, logging in computers, fixing problems. And Joe, the boss, came in around 4:55. He's like, I got to tell you, this is the quickest I've had new people clearing out tickets. I was like, well, if you're not doing tickets, what are you doing? He's like, well, usually it takes new guys 2 weeks just to get an idea what's going on. He's like, Dan's been here for 2 weeks and you've been here for 1 day, really, and these tickets are getting cleared out and problems are getting taken care of and updates are being implemented and all that. And I told him, I said, you know what? This is the first time since probably 2005, 2006, I've been in a room all day long with people who either know as much or if not more than me about the subject. I said, it was me and my dad, we were always out in the field. I was in a car by myself, working jobs. He was back at the office doing billing or advertising or working on stuff. But this is the first time I've actually been in a room. And regardless what it is, whether it's computers or what you do or the gym or running or fishing, whenever you're around people who have the same passion or into the same thing, you kind of get, and influenced by them or challenged by them, and it kind of motivates you and re-sparks your interest.
Well, 8 years ago, or going on 8 years ago, when I left the company I started with when I first moved to Vegas, it was exactly kind of that kind of thing. I was looking around. There's nobody's here smarter than me. Maybe it's a lack of self-confidence. Maybe I knew I just wasn't ready yet. But then a recruiter came knocking on my door, and I've been where I'm at, again, going on 8 years, and I'm glad because I have learned a lot more.
Well, not only that,
Because of
but with the exception of working in radio, this has been the first time I've actually had coworkers in a long time. Once again, it's me and my truck all day. I have regular customers, they're kind of like coworkers, but this is the first time, in a long time, with the exception of working at a radio station, where, and that's the other thing too. Instead of driving 70 miles a day now, I drive 5 miles down the road, get out of my truck, go inside, leave for an hour at lunch, come back. So I'm driving maybe 14 miles a day. So I'm saving wear and tear on the tires, my starter, and everything else. So everything's going well. What's up, Michael, from the Tackle Your Personal Best podcast? So, yeah, the computer thing's going cool.
And it's nice to be part of a team, too.
Yes, and he kept
That
pulling
is
us in.
huge.
Here's the owner bringing me in. Hey, I just hooked up this new customer down in Naples. Here's what's going on. He asked me my 2 cents, which way we should go with it, and things like that. So everything's looking good on that front. Downside, background check, passed, perfect. Went in and did all the tax paperwork. Okay, I just need your driver's license and your social security card just to verify citizenship.
Damn, you've got that accent nailed, don't you?
Well, I got my ID on me. I think I know where my social security card is. Haven't needed it in a long time, not since I bought my house.
You got a passport by chance?
Used to could.
Mm.
Back in 2002, when we first started at Computers, before we were at Computers, we were PM Wizard. We were a company that was going to do preventative maintenance manuals for large industrial companies, and we had a contract, and I was going to go fly to Germany, and I had a passport back then. It's long since expired.
Birth certificate?
Well, see, that's the thing. So I signed up at socialsecurity.com. I'm waiting for them to reply back to email. But I got to thinking last night, I just adopted a kid like 4 years ago. You don't just adopt a kid with a driver's license. So I'm trying to think, okay, where is Sariana's adoption paperwork at? I had to have had my birth certificate and my social security for the background check to become a foster parent. So now, while I'm waiting for the Social Security office to email me back, I looked through the filing cabinet, it wasn't in there. So now I'm trying to find all the adoption paperwork, because I'm sure it's got to be in there. Because prior to that, the last time I had it was when we, had to fill out our mortgage paperwork for our house. I think I had to use it back then. I don't even remember. But I've been working for, oh my God, I hope I don't need my birth certificate. I'll be making a trip to Kentucky again, like when I lived in California.
Actually, I was able to get mine from Kentucky with
Your social security card.
with my social security card.
It's funny how that works, right?
Yeah.
You need your birth certificate to get your social security card. You need your social security card to get your birth certificate.
Tell you, man,
License
you don't sound
ain't
like
good
you're
for
from
shit.
Australia at all.
So, yeah. So, good news is I got a week or two before payroll, comes my way, because I started in the middle of the pay period. And anytime you start a new job, it's usually you're a week off or so. But
You got a buffer week or so.
yeah, so I got to figure that out. So that's fun.
I think you'll be all right.
So Sunday, Carrie and I were out at the pond, the one backside of Lake Zurich.
Is this the one with the dead body?
This is the backside of the one with the dead body, but it's funny you say that because it has to do with dead bodies, but not of the human nature. So
Not manatees, is it?
you see a dead possum in a canal, you think dead possum in a canal. You paddle 50 yards away, you see another dead possum in the canal. What do you think?
Something's afoot.
The likelihood of a possum getting sick, dying, and falling in the canal?
Thinking there's some poisonings going on.
Very likely. The chance of 2 possums falling in the canal, dead the same day, as Gordon implied, either poisoning or maybe the same fella who shoots iguanas with his BB gun got the possum hunting because they were damaging his yard.
Okay.
Covered with flies, skin being eaten away. Fresh
Yuck.
water, Florida.
Stink.
Okay, not a big deal. Paddled back that night, they were gone. Coolio. G-O-N-E, gone.
Maybe it's some gator bait.
I got home from work at 5:45 tonight, And we quickly piled up the kayaks and headed out fishing because I can't fish tomorrow and probably won't be able to do it for Thursday. And we went back to the same place. And as in the back of my head, as we're paddling at 6:30, I said, I wonder if I should tell Carrie that, hey, when we get down to Possum Point, perhaps you should keep an eye out for alligators. Once again, fresh meat, fresh water, Florida. But I kept it to myself and paddling. Got a
Now,
little bit-
Possum Point is a point you've always called a Possum Point, or is it
Not
now
until I found two
Possum
possums
Point?
within,
Oh, you got your two dead possums, right?
we
'Cause it almost matter to say, what do you mean Possum Point? Where's that at?
we name areas like we have 6-pound lake, 4-pound wall, Possum Point, Turtle Town, Tilapia Town, Four Corners. We give areas cute little names so we know what we're talking about. And so I start paddling ahead of her a little bit, and about 20 yards down, I see a big nose and big eyeballs. Quickly went underwater. There's our alligator. The biggest alligator I've seen in this waterway. He was probably about 6 feet. About 40, 50 yards down from where possum number 2 would have been 3 days ago. So that's a good way to start today. So we paddle out to that area. Now this area, it's cool. It's a big area where 4 canals intersect, but it's crazy because they dredge the canal around the seawall so people can put boats, but out the middle lake it's 1.5 feet at the deepest. And there's all these little willows and palms, and when we first started going there, we'd throw worms out and yada, yada, yada. And for those of you who watch my YouTube videos, you'll know like 2 weeks ago, I was having luck on frog. And as I'm paddling out, you see a guy on the bank saying, hey, there's fish jumping out there. How deep is it? And I say, it's 1.5 feet. He said, well, he's like, I've been watching them jump. I just can't cast that far. And so I put on a top water, and second cast, I landed the 3.5-pound bass the Monday prior to me going to Lake Okeechobee. And so ever since, and then Carrie caught too. That it's a long story short, that area has been kind of like the top water. We've been getting a lot of hits on top water. So we went out there tonight, and Carrie's fishing with a worm, and I threw a top water, and I reel in. I get hit, a little pound and a half fish. He has a big ass scar on his stomach from someone else hitting him with a top water. Because a lot of times when you hit him with top water, that back treble hook will grab their stomach. And so I'm like, dude, you need to stay off the top water. you're not doing too well. You need to maybe hang on the low. So I let him go. Carrie getting hits on top water. No, kept throwing a worm. Threw the second one, reeling it in. Something hits it. My revolver goes flying in the air. I was like, damn. It lands. I'm paddling. Something else hits it. Goes straight down. Reeled in. Caught a 2.5-pound bass tonight on that. Sweet. It's been a while. Paddle around. It's getting dark because we got out there 6:45. We had to get back here by 8:30. Catch another dink. Well, it's getting dark, and we're paddling back. 4-foot alligator results in the back of our minds. Carrie's reeling her top water, and something nails it so damn hard. It goes flying from the right side of her kayak and through the air over her head and lands on the left side. And I was like, holy shit, that was probably like a 4-pound bass and 1.5 feet of water. He nailed that son of a bitch hard. So we stayed there and fished a few more times, but no luck. So she's upset that she caught 2 fish tonight and I caught 3 because, well, we're very, very. What's the matter? You want up here? Very competitive. No, guess not. Oh, I came home and apparently Bebop found my autographed baseball in the podcast studio that's autographed from the guys from Slapshot from Stan Haney night. It was in my bedroom. Luckily, she didn't chew it up too bad, so she likes balls. But, so, just trying to get caught up on everything that happened the last couple of days. I apparently signed up for a Rugged Maniac back in January. And this is the one I used to refer to as my first OCR. It's super easy. It's for people who've never done a Savage or a Spartan race or a Tough Mud or something to get your feet wet, literally. And it's at the Tampa Fairground. Registration's like $30 and parking's like $15. So all said and done for a 3-mile race, you're
$50 in gas later.
Not when you're driving a Volkswagen Jetta that can get from here to Valdosta, Georgia in a single tank of gas.
There you go.
But all in and said and done, you're in it for $45, whereas a Savage or a Spartan, depending on when you sign up, is anywhere from 89 to 130, depending if you sign up 6 months in advance or sign up 2 days before. So it's, it's definitely cheap. I mean, hell, half marathon costs you $80. I mean, that shit's not cheap. But I had forgotten all about it. I've been working late, shutting down the business, all that, and so I hadn't ran. I hadn't really
Fishing,
trained.
you've been doing a lot of fishing, so.
Well, even when
Yeah.
I was fishing, I would still come home and ride the bike or go to the gym. It's just I've been occupied all night.
Right.
And I also signed up for the Elite Wave, which was the first time in any of my races I did Elite. I always run Open Wave, where you're just competing against yourself. But last year I ran it and did 100% obstacle completion because it was that easy. So I signed up for Elite Wave, not thinking that I would win, but I wanted to see where I landed in my age group in an Elite Wave. So anyhow, I went down there. My first mile was like 8.5-minute mile with all the obstacles. Now, it was the same easy course, but what they did is they added multiple what they call barn doors before the first monkey bar thing, and they added 2 water obstacles before. And so by the time you got to the real hard, the real first hard obstacle, if you've ever done these sort of races, which is a multi-rig monkey bar, you actually got to go monkey bar to one single vertical where you got to go hand over water and then hit the bell. By the time you got there, I passed it my hands were cashed. Plus I hadn't trained, but so I fell through that. I tried it a second time. Long story short, I finished the whole race in 32 minutes. I probably could have done it in less than 30 if I wouldn't have retried that obstacle twice. And I get to the end. I'm waiting for them to do the tally, the announcements, the winners. Now, usually if you sign up for a 5K, 10K, Savage Spartan, whatever, your bib has an electronic chip on the back. That's how they track your time. Well, this race is so cheap that they don't have that. The only people they track is the Elite Wave. That's fine. I ran the Elite Wave. Made sure my bib was shown when I crossed the line because it fell out because cheap race, cheap bib, not waterproof. Imagine that. When you sign up for a Spartan or a Savage, the bibs are made out of cloth so that they're waterproof. These are just rough paper, always fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a downside to cheap races. They're cheap for a reason. So I hang out for an hour and they announce the winners. The overall winner, who did the damn thing like 22 minutes, was actually 42 years old, which was very cool because usually they're like 18 or 20. And then there was a girl who won the women's overall, and she had a shirt on that said Race Ready Obstacles. And the company actually had the owner on, Aaron, on Fail to Fail, talking about how he got into, he's a welder, and he started making OCR equipment to put out in your backyard, and it's like professional grade. It's all powder coated and all that stuff. Welds it all together, and he actually organizes races now. But anyhow, so I talked to her and she won. And so I got to talk to the race lady. I'm like, so when are you guys going to have the Elite scores out? Oh, you can probably find it on our website around Thursday.
Okay.
I'm like, well, this kind of fucking sucks. I mean, you sign up for the Elite because you want to see where you qualify, and if you don't finish in the top 3 overall, you don't know where you finish for like a week and a half. And so that was kind of a bummer. So I'm still waiting. The other thing I did, which I'll never do again, usually when I won these races or even fish, I wear my GoPro on my head.
Mm-hmm.
You never realize how much your head acts as a gimbal. Now, one time with the Savage race, my head harness fell off. I just run back and get it. Cuts down on time. Here I am running Elite. I'm running for time. I did have to slow down a few times during the race because my heart rate got to 170 something. So I was hitting high zone 4. So I did have to slow down and get my heart rate down. So I wore the chest harness. Problem solved, didn't fall off. That's why I also wore a shirt, because I didn't want to be a guy topless with a fucking look like I have a brawl on. So I wore a black shirt so you couldn't see my black GoPro harness, and it worked out well. And that's the other bummer. Once it's a cheap race, I get it. Usually you run these races, you get photographs. They have photographers on the course. Well, they had 3 photographers on the course. One was at the starting line. One was at the freaking barbed wire crawl. How boring is that? And then one of them was on one good rig. It's like, why wouldn't you take the other 2 guys and put them on the other 2 hard rigs instead of at the,
Did you just say bob wire?
Barbed wire, whatever. And so, but when I got home and looked at the footage, I had to delete out all the running because it's just up, even with stabilizer on, because your head acts as a gimbal and it's strapped to my chest and all you see is my hands. And so basically this time, if you watch the video, I'm going to edit all the running together. So it's just going to be obstacle after obstacle, but I can't put the video up until I know what I place. So hopefully by Thursday, that'll all be done.
Not to circle back, but I just thought you actually have a second form of photo ID, don't you?
It doesn't have my social security on it.
Oh, you can't get that without a social security number.
Well, you would think that, but I remember one time I was at Walmart and they asked for ID to buy ammo, and I produced that, and he said that's not a valid form of ID. I said you got to be 21 years old to get that. And oh, by the way,
And the fact of the matter, if I'm carrying, this is a valid form of ID.
by the way, this form ID is what the state of Florida gives you when you're allowed to carry a concealed firearm. So yes, it should be a valid form of ID to buy ammunition. So I had to produce my.
I think you'll be fine. I mean, you've got enough. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is when we went out to lunch,
Sure, you got a tax ID somewhere too, if you have to.
when we went out to lunch on Monday,
Mhm.
the boss and his wife said, "Any of y'all shoot?" I
Too
said,
bad you
"Well,"
weren't wearing that grunt style shirt.
I said, "No, I only have M1 Garand, 2 shotguns, 3 pistols, and an AR." So I'm gonna wait a few days and say, "Hey, can I just bring my gun inside, keep it on my desk?" So yeah, so that was cool.
So even though they're from Cali, they seem to be open.
Oh, I opened up my drawer and I found a Lenovo Space Saver computer riddled with bullet holes. I took it to the indoor gun range and shot
Sweet.
it all.
You are in the right place. You
Yeah.
found
Of course,
your
Dan's
own.
like, all right. He's from Cleveland. And he's like, no, I've only shot an M1, but I'll be happy to go try. So
Hey, they're Ohio is now a constitutional carry state.
yeah.
You guys may be on your way there.
Oh, God, I hope.
I have a feeling we got too many fucking colonies from California here
yeah.
to have that happen.
I'm reading my notes and I don't know what the hell
Oh!
that says.
So we got HBO Max.
Okay.
And what I'm discovering about HBO Max is you can pretty much watch movies when they come out at the theater.
Yeah, a lot of them are doing that so that because less people are going to the theater, and so I think HBO works a deal with them. They get first rights.
I tell you, I'm not a big comic book movie guy, but I am watching the new Batman. The Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
And
Now let me ask you this about the new
I'm very
The Batman.
happy with it so far. I haven't gotten through it all the way yet because I had to.
I was thinking about this when I was mowing my lawn, and I was thinking about how everything's just a remake of old stuff. And then I got to think about all these superhero movies, which they're good when I watch them, but I very rarely watch them. The last one I saw is when I took Sariana to see Enter the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man cartoon, which I came on, was raving about. I thought it was fantastic. Everything about it was great. But I got to thinking, and my question for you about the new The Batman, is it the same storyline origin story?
Nope.
Good. It's like, how many times do we got to see how Spider-Man became Spider-Man? We know about Uncle Paul, or whatever the fuck his name is. We know about getting bitten by a spider. We know about with great responsibility comes great responsibility, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I can see watching different Spider-Mans, but how many origin story movies do we need of the same character?
Correct. And it's not really about the origin. He is finding some things out about, Bruce Wayne is finding out some things about his father. Just let me give you a rundown of the cast. Robert Pattinson is Batman. He's kind of a skinny Batman, but I think it's working well. He's kind of an emo Batman, an emo Bruce Wayne anyway.
Okay.
Zoe Kravitz is Selena Kyle. She is Catwoman. Paul Dano as the Riddler. This guy is fantastic. It is the creepiest effing Riddler you've ever seen, and I think he actually out-creeps the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker. Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
I've seen
and
the
you
clips. You can't tell.
Can't even tell.
Fat
Jeffrey Wright is James Gordon. You know who John Turturro is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it. He's Carmine Falcone. That's the Riddler's or the Penguin's boss.
One complaint I heard is there are almost too many bad guys. It's just too many sub stories going on.
There's some sub stories, but they're all connected. You know, and Andy Serkis is actually playing Alfred Pennyworth. Doing a good job so far. Again, I know I haven't gotten through the whole thing yet because I decided to start watching it an hour before bedtime last night, and then picked up on it a little bit today. And then I did not know Ben. What is Ben Affleck doing? This can't be right. This cast, but
Well, Ben Affleck played the
Yes.
Batman in the other one.
yes, he did. So I just pulled this up, and I didn't. I think this may just be a bad list. once I got to there, or they're
Or you're looking at the
blending it.
yeah.
Well, they got Peter Sarsgaard. He's in it. That's correct, and all these other people are in it. But that is interesting. So I'll have to kind of dig in on that. I didn't.
Well,
see
when
him
I
on
was
there.
having this thought, when I was mowing the grass, my mind went back again to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And
Yes.
that was a cool origin story, but
That was.
the big beef I had with that one was when they showed the believer, the thug who was down for the cause, killing Mr. Wayne.
Okay.
Bruce was about 10 years old.
Correct.
Joaquin Phoenix was about 38, 40, possibly 43. So you're trying to tell me 10 years later, when Batman's getting his ass kicked at the age of 23 by his nemesis, the Joker, he's getting his ass kicked by a 55 to 60-year-old? The age discrepancy between the Joker and the 10-year-old Batman. I was like, yeah, so you're trying to tell me this whole time Batman's nemesis is in his 50s,
Right.
kicking his ass the whole time?
Yeah, and so, but this one seems to be well done so far. I know it's weird that I haven't watched the whole thing at once. It's 3 hours long,
3 hours long.
or pert near 3 hours long. I should have watched it on the weekend. And no, it's so far, I'm pretty happy with it. It's definitely more open face, older style. I tell you, the Batmobile is pretty badass. It's not crazy like you would see in the past. There's a lot more older tech, even though it's modern times. So, it's not like super flashy stuff, with his gadgets and that, but it works. It works well. And then another real quick one is Prime. On Amazon Prime, there's a new show called Outer Range with, oh, crap. Don't you hate when you open that drawer with that name in it and it's just dust and cobwebs? Josh Brolin.
Okay.
So
Josh Brolin, Imogen Poots, IMOGN. Why can't they have
Imogen Poots.
Imogen Poots, Tom Felfrey, Noah Reed, Morningstar, Angeline, Will Patton, Isabella Arerza, and Lily Taylor.
So that one's an
Liv
interesting
Taylor.
one. It's going to be a little out there, but it takes place on a ranch in Wyoming. And so he discovers some shit on his land that's a little...
There's shit on my land.
Well, there's some weird shit on his land. But needless to say, it's an interesting romp so far. And Amazon's doing it is they're dropping one episode a week. So it's not a jam it out right now. There's 2 episodes deep.
Now, we have talked on this show about NFTs and how they're kind of like the
And what is an NFT, Don?
pyramid scheme, a non-fungible token. And we're kind of talking like how they're like the new craze, the new Mona V, if you will. Remember Mona V?
Vaguely.
People would sell that shit. It's supposed to be end all cure all. But we're kind of talking like how it's the pyramid scam. And I wonder if the bottom's starting to fall out. This is
You
from
mean people are onto it?
Well, let's just say some of these early NFTs aren't reselling for what they thought they would. The man who paid
You mean Victor Chaos has been pulling a scam?
The man who paid $2.9 million for the NFT of Jack Dorsey's first tweet set to lose almost $2.9 million. The crypto entrepreneur, Sina Elzvaz, some Middle Easterner dude, made headlines in March in 2021 when he paid $2.9 million for the NFT of Twitter boss Jack Dorsey's very first tweet. But his efforts to resell it has run aground, with a top bid of just $6,800 on Thursday. The initial purchase was, at the time, the most expensive sale of a non-fungible token, or NFT, and came amid a fury of interest in the niche crypto asset. This gentleman put up the tweet for resale on a popular NFT marketplace, OpenSea, last week, and initially asking for $48 million. That's a steal for a first tweet from the guy who no longer works there after Twitter may get bought out.
That would be the best thing in the world if Elon Musk can pull that off.
The price tag was removed after offers in the first week were as low as $150.
Oh,
As of Thursday, the highest bid was 2.2 of the cryptocurrency Ether, equivalent of about $6,800.
Ethereum, huh?
Quote, "My offer to sell was high and not everyone could afford it," he said to Reuters via Twitter direct message, adding that he was no longer sure if he wanted to sell the NFT. "I've had a change of mind. If you don't appreciate the value, then fuck you." Quote,
I'll hold out for better offers.
quote, "It is important to me who wants to buy it. I'm not just going to sell this NFT to anyone because I don't think everyone deserves this NFT."
No.
NFTs are a form of crypto asset which can record the ownership of a digital file, such as an image, video, or text, or, as we learned, a deed to a house in Florida. There is no guarantee of an NFT value, and the market is rife with scams, frauds, counterfeits, and marketplace manipulations. Say it ain't so. But this gentleman is confident in the value of his
Add
purchase.
something of perceived value in the digital space. Oh no, hackers aren't going to come coming. You know?
But don't worry, he knows the value of his purchase, Gordon.
I'm
This
sure he
NFT is not just a tweet. This is the Mona Lisa of the digital world, he said. Dude, admit it. You got caught up in the hype and you got scammed.
Was the first tweet a picture of his dinner?
I don't know. The gentleman who lives in Malaysia said he has been
Nothing.
arrested last May during a trip to Iran, and he was freed in February. Iranian state media reported that in May of 2021 that he was accused of, quote, "disrupting the country's economic system." So he said that he had been arrested because of the growth of his crypto exchange, Bridge Oracle. Quote, "I need the support of the cryptocurrency community," he said. While announcing that the NFT sale in a tweet on April 6th, he pledged to give 50% of its proceeds, which would expected to be at least $25 million, to charity, and he would use the rest to pay for his legal fees. He would use the rest to support Bridge Oracle. So this crypto cat who paid $2.9 million for the first tweet is losing his ass, and I couldn't be happier about it. Speaking of the digital world and people being lazy, did you see the new no tipping, no trip culture amongst the people who deliver for Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats?
It's fine. I'd rather just go get my shit anyway. I mean, it's already paying a premium to get it delivered.
Tipping culture is a divisive topic on TikTok, inspiring arguments about how much people should tip service workers and whether or not it's okay to just tip nothing at all.
Yes. Yes, it is.
This week, another tipping-related TikTok is going viral, posted by a DoorDash worker, at this person's name, attracting more than 2.8 million views in 3 days. It shows a pile, and it's literally a pile, of orders supposedly being ignored by DoorDash drivers because the customers did not include a tip during the order. And so there's literally, they're showing this room of just stacks of bags from a fast food restaurant that the drivers aren't taking because there's no.
Sometimes you don't. A tip is for services above and beyond, and sometimes you don't get your tip until after you make the
It's funny
delivery.
you say that, Gordon, because you're thinking logically. Quote,
Yeah, just like
in the video, "These have been sitting here for 4 hours because no dashers will take non-tip orders," reads the caption. "No tip, no trip," the worker told me as a DoorDash, Uber / Eats, Grubhub drivers. Naturally, the brief video provoked strong opinions on TikTok comments. Some sympathized with the idea of delivery workers abandoning orders if they wouldn't get a tip, while others argued this was unprofessional and unfair to the customers. Plus, there are a lot of people debating about tipping in advance versus tipping in person. Maybe some of these people ordering was going to tip the driver in cash or tip them via another Cash App. But those people won't get the opportunity because these drivers aren't picking up the
Selfish
food.
assholes.
But my question is, if you cancel a lot of rides as an Uber driver,
You're,
you get a phone call from Uber.
yeah.
So does DoorDash do you not stop getting orders? For example, if you're driving from Uber, which I did for a short period of time because I was broke during the pandemic, if you refuse 3 rides, like when they pop up, if you don't accept the ride, after the 3rd one, Uber says apparently you're not driving, and they put you offline. So you have to relog back in. With Uber, they have chain deals. Like, okay, you do 3 drives in this area, you make an extra $15, $25, a little enticement. Well, one night I made 2 pickups in that area, dropped them off, and then I got a 3rd one that was already down in Fort Myers Beach. I was like, well, I don't want to go down there. I want to stay in this area. And so I ignored that one, picked up the next one, but because I ignored the 3rd one,
Started
it broke
over.
the chain.
Yep.
Yep. So,
So tipping is actually, people are getting so aggressive with tipping now that, so I believe, I waited tables for a long time, so I was in a tip position. I get it.
Just
Okay.
the tip.
But when I'm going to any restaurant that is a order at the window and then you stand in front of register and when you go to pay, it asks for a tip. No, I'm sorry.
well, see, the thing is the traditional tipping.
Do you tip your McDonald's employees?
Well, we'll get that momentarily. Here's the interesting thing. The traditional tip people, your waiters, your bartenders, I don't know what it is now, but they're roughly making $3.50 an hour.
Depends on the state. It's either half of minimum wage in a tip credit state, or out here it's like 10 plus an hour. It's more than minimum wage.
And so in a lot of these towns like Ohio and Kentucky, a lot of these wait staffs, your Waffle House employees are getting paid $3 an hour plus whatever tips. So they rely on those tips. But then you go down the street to the taco joint where someone's making $9, $10, $12, $14 an hour, and they have the tip jar out, and they want the tip. But to Gordon's question about McDonald's, I drove through a Burger King not too long ago, and they had a tip jar in the drive-thru window.
The tip jar is one thing, but when it's actually asking to tip on the credit
Receipt?
card machine,
Yeah.
that's what I draw the line. And, I'm
And
like,
usually
well,
those are not your normal Wendy's,
Correct.
McDonald's. These are the mom and pop taco shops.
Cafe Rios of the world.
Yeah, where
Yes,
they have the
exactly.
cute little flip around tablet where you gotta before you
Oh,
sign.
every time you're getting that toast tablet, you're getting asked. So
When Brad came down from Ohio, we went to WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, and they had a PDQ. You go to pay, and you get to the tip screen, and there's no option for no tip. You have to after doing it, I realized you had to go to different areas. So they kind of fool you into forcing you to give a tip before it'll go to the signature screen or the pen pad screen. It's crazy.
0.01. There you go.
Oh, they had the predefined 1%, 2%, 4%.
There's usually an other button.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just,
Well, and things are already getting so expensive. Who's going to be able to afford to tip? You know?
I told you, I went to Subway one day. Got a foot-long sub, Italian urban cheese, spicy Italian urban cheese, double meat. Me and Carrie split that one sub. And then I got a 6-inch flatbread for Sariana and one drink.
Mm-hmm.
It was like $24. It's like, wow, so the day of the $6 footlong's gone too, huh?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even eat out anymore. So I was done with that. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to start happening even out here where everybody eats out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
So
and-
one bedroom I found out a 1-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas now runs about $1,800 a month.
Ooh, Nelly. That's about what it is.
Thank
out
you,
here.
California. I mean, thank you for my home value, but I would have to leave the state if I sell my house just to be able to buy another one. You know?
Let's see here. Cape Coral Apartments for rent. Let's just see what the going rate. I know it was enough to make my daughter run back to Ohio. Apartment finders. I just want view apartments. Cape Coral for rent. Okay, here's here's an actual house. 1 to 3 bedrooms. Dog friendly, cat friendly. In-unit washer and dryer. Anywhere between $1,710 a month to $2,237, which is probably more than your mortgage payment a month.
How much?
Between $1,700 to $2,300.
That's it starts at about $400 more a month than my mortgage.
Spring at Cape Coral, Yellow Creek Loop. So this is over by the Yellow Creek Fever Preserve. This is a studio to 3 bedroom. Studio apartment, $1,553 a month to $4,640 for a 3 bedroom.
Yeah, they actually say our biggest problem is we don't have enough inventory for the amount of people moving in, which is odd. All these people moving in, and we got a lake that is drying
Ooh,
up.
Cape
so-
Coral West. I'm sorry, Cape West 91 villas. That sounds fancy. 1 to 2 bedrooms, ranging between $1,650 to $1,990 a month.
So you're all not much off ours.
Nope. Apartment at the Isles in Porta Vista. 1 to 3 bedrooms, ranging between $1,550 to $2,225 a month. Yeah, I'm so glad I bought one I did.
I am.
House
too.
for rent. Don't show you how many bedrooms. It looks like it's probably a late 80s house.
Mhm.
Let's see here. Over off of Pelican Boulevard, which is a roughly a pretty nice neighborhood. To rent a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,020 square foot house, I will say
That's a sizable home.
that it has a pool with a lanai. The pool and lanai is probably bigger than my first 3 apartments. How much do you think a 3-bedroom, 2,020 square foot house for rent with a pool goes monthly in the beautiful city of Cape Coral, Florida?
About $2,500.
We were just looking at 2-bedroom apartments for that. This is a house with a pool. Guess again.
Well, probably $3,500.
12-month lease. Guess again.
$5,000.
$6,000.
Ooh. Yeah, have fuck me money to be able to rent a place.
With a $6,000 deposit.
Yeah, it's first and last month. Or yeah,
No,
it's basically
actually,
last
hold
month's
on. 6-month lease. So maybe that may not be bad. It actually may be $6,000 for 6 months. That's about $1,000 a month. That's actually not too bad if that's the case. But it's 6-month lease, includes rent. Okay, utilities included in rent. Awesome update. I don't know. It says $6,000. I don't know if that's $6,000 a month or that's $6,000 for 6 months. Maybe it's $1,000 a month. That actually wouldn't be too bad. But you're out in 6 months.
rent. Yep.
Speaking of homes, let's change things up a little bit. We always talk about high tech. Let's go low tech. You want to see 8 low tech ways to strengthen your home security, Gordon?
Go for it.
And I can inform you that there ain't gonna be nothing about firearms on here. This is from the people at the.
See if I've got any of them in my home.
This is from the website artofmanliness.com. Let's scroll past the editorialization. Number 1, landscape home for maximal visibility. Don't allow your landscaping to provide cover for hiding spots for crooks. Prune or replace trees and bushes so that criminals will be more visible when approaching your house.
Yeah, it's really hard to. There's maybe 1 or 2 bushes.
This is actually a good idea. Plant thorny bushes underneath your windows.
Yeah, they say the same thing out here, or in our case, cacti.
Prickly bushes with sharp leaves or thorny branches planted beneath your ground level windows not only make it more difficult for would-be burglars to access these entry points, but can also serve as evidence collection tools in the event that a successful break-in, such as blood, skin, or torn clothes captured by the shrubbery could be used to track down. That's cute. They actually think that the cops are going to investigate your home invasion. Where's these guys at from manliness.com? Because we know out in Las Vegas, they don't even fucking respond to those anymore. Okay, I have a caveat with number 3. Get a dog. A dog makes...
Well,
hold on. A dog makes for not only a faithful companion, but a handy layer of home security. Even small, non-physically imposing dogs can be helpful here. Bailey does, like when somebody walks into the bedroom, like if someone's sleeping and she's sleeping, and she'll jump out of the bed and yap, 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 yap. The caveat I have is this doesn't work if you're one of these assholes who keeps your dog tied up in the backyard, because I will simply break into the front of your house. If you're going to have a dog It's in your backyard. Don't have
And
a
that
fucking
dog's
dog.
probably barking all the time anyway.
Yeah, don't have a dog.
Now with Oliver, he does sleep downstairs. We're upstairs. He will bark if somebody comes to the door, usually out of excitement.
Yep.
But something he's not a yap. It's weird. He's kind of got a big dog's bark and a small voice. So he stirred up shit with the neighbors last week,
That's funny.
earlier in the week.
Bailey's been doing that too. Going outside.
I
barking.
let him outside, and he went and just started yelling at the neighbors' dogs. And he doesn't bark out in public, but man, in the yard, if he hears a dog across behind us, he'll just start yelling. And he's the one who started it this time. And I hear him going, and I hear a dog that I've never recognized before with a deep voice, woof. And then I heard the other one. I'm like, dude, you're starting shit. You got to get back in the house, take a piss, and let's go to bed.
Well, Bailey, for a small dog, she is not vocal at all. Only time she barks is when she's startled or if you start making fun of her. Like if she starts whimpering, you start whimpering back at her, she gets mad and starts barking at you. But other than that, she does not bark. She doesn't bark when Pilma knocks on the door. She doesn't bark when... Only time she barks is when she's startled or being made fun of. She takes it personally.
It's funny when Oliver barks, it's more of a woo, 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 woo.
Number 4, install a solar-powered motion detecting lights.
Yep.
My neighbor has one that lights up the whole gap between our two houses where my trash cans are, which work great. Motion-activated floodlights near shadowy areas increase deterrent, creating visibility around your property. Increase deterrent, creating visibility around your property. They only come on when someone actively is in the area or you have raccoons or iguanas, possums, or armadillos.
Occasional gator.
Install cheap door window alarms. These affordable battery-powered alarms utilize magnets to detect when the window or door is opened, easily to install, often with simple adhesive. The alarms aren't only handy for knowing when intruders come in, but alerting you to the fact that your daughter is sneaking outside to hide food in the trash cans on the side of the house. Oh, that's just here. All my doors and windows, when you open them, go beep, 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 so you know whenever... The downside is, you know, when I'm letting out Bebop at 4:30 in the morning because her bladder is on a tight schedule. So every night she waits until I go to bed, and then she wakes me up to go out, and then every morning at 4:30 she wakes me up. Just me. Only me. Yeah. Install door reinforcement hardware. Your door has a few weak points. Yeah, one of those weak points is actually in the center of the door where your cylinder is because there's only about a half an inch of wood on each side.
Mm-hmm.
The first is near the strike plate on your door frame where the latch and deadbolt tongue connects with the frame. We just said that. Second is near the deadbolt itself. The third is at the hinges when the door is kicked or rammed by the police when they're trying to raid your trap house. Those are the breaking points. So install some hardware. Install pin locked on double hung doors and sliding doors. That's a good idea. Zip the manual release on your garage. So when you shut your garage door, just lock the door and hit the manual release so that if someone does break in your car and activate your garage door opener, you just see that little red handle going back and nothing else. And that's going to cover it for some 8 low-tech tips, ways to secure your home. And this time, maybe next week, we'll talk about low-tech ways to secure your catalytic converter.
Well, if you have a
Toyota
Tacoma, it's built into the header and it's up inside.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Joining us now from the Digital 410 West News Desk in Las Vegas, Nevada.
See how loud that is, but everything else is quiet? Before we get to news, you had a thought. Go ahead.
Huh? I was thinking of ways because people like to jump walls around here. Of doing some extra security on my wall, and I was like, well, I could do some broken glass.
Liability.
That's problematic.
Liability.
I'm leaning more towards like a roof mastic or a tar that doesn't dry, and you just run along the top of that. So when some unsuspecting
Cat
fool tries to jump over, I'll end up with rats.
You have like
to it.
fly
God
tape on
damn
your
it.
wall.
Yeah, I'll end up with rats.
But isn't
or
that
birds.
sad though that we live in a society where if you were to booby trap something, because I often thought about this when I lived in Ohio. Every car I ever had in Ohio was broken into. Gordon and I have both lost speakers, amps, car stereos, CDs, jackets, you name it. It's been stolen.
It's funny. After we moved away from certain people,
I lived in Long Beach, California. I had 10-inch subwoofer car. My car has not been broken into since I left the city of Columbus. Not may not be a Columbus thing, but more as the assholes you went to high school with know where you live and know what you have, and they send their asshole buddies to steal your shit. Funny how that works.
Or they were the assholes who stole your shit.
But I oftentimes, when I worked at Horton Emergency Vehicles and I had my sweet ass 1989 Suzuki Somersault with a soft top, I had two Sherwin Vega 8-inch subwoofers and a cheese wedge box designed for low airspace behind my back seat, and I often had fantasies of taking razor blades and embedding them under the carpet so that when someone reached down to go snippy, snippy, snip, they would cut their fingers up. But sadly, we live in a society where I would be at fault for someone making the conscious decision to break into my property and steal my shit, but somehow if they cut their fingers all to fucking hell, it would be my fault. And that's kind of sad.
All right.
Your fingers wouldn't
So-
be cut up if you didn't make the conscious decision to break into someone else's shit.
First story's a little longer.
Okay.
It's a little more current.
Okay.
Actually, I'm actually reading a headline to the side by Fox News. It says Russia accuses Biden of having dementia, but I think we all knew that anyway.
That's an accusation? I thought that was cold hard facts.
What is now? Finland and Sweden.
Yeah.
They're moving towards possible NATO membership, but they're bracing for a Russian backlash. I think I heard today that Russia's used up 25% of its force in Ukraine so far. Don't know if that's true or not. but
I
it
heard
must-
we've
yeah.
used 1/3 of our stock of javelins, and we may have to start cutting that shit out by not giving them anymore.
Oh yeah, there's a supply chain issue to get those things built. It's going to be hard. Last Wednesday in Stockholm, Sweden, the prime ministers of Sweden and Finland, countries whose neutrality and military non-alliance are deeply woven into their cultures, shocked the world by issuing a joint statement that, thanks to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, they were seriously considering applying for membership in NATO. There is before and after February the 24th, just like there is before and after COVID, and before and after a lot of things. According to Swedish Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson, with two S's, told reporters in reference to Russia's latest military incursion into Ukraine, the security landscape has completely changed. What is interesting is they're getting prepared for all kinds of action from Russia, according to the Finnish Prime Minister Sanna Marin, and adding that Finland would decide about applying to NATO in a matter of weeks. So while both countries have closed off their skies to Russian air traffic, and the announcement about NATO membership further risked the wrath of the Kremlin, not of Khan, which has repeatedly threatened both against joining the 30-member alliance. So what's going interesting, though, is over the last week in Sweden, radios, portable generators, and camping stoves began flying off the shelf as its 10.4 million citizens began stocking up on canned food. Let's think about that for a second. Ukraine had about 40 million citizens, but Sweden only has 10.4, and Finland only has 5.5. That's like the size. 5.5 is like the size of one of the major cities in Ukraine. So they would have a harder time defending on their own in those two countries. But in Finland, where the government stockpiles had enough grains and fuels in their strategic reserves to last about 5 months, they're expecting more cyber attacks like those that hit the ministries of defense and foreign relations back on April the 8th. While Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the Finnish parliament via video, Finland believes that Russia will soon target its infrastructure, including internet and electrical grids, and Russian violations of airspace, and both countries are actually already on the rise. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
You know, it's funny. I'm looking.
It ain't feeling very good still. So
I'm looking up this Javelin story. The main three providers are suspect sites. One is the Egyptian Independence. Two is the CSIS.org. Interestingly enough, none of the American news stories are sharing this, so it could be propaganda to make us look bad. But according to the fine people over at the Egyptian Independence, U.S. stock of Javelin anti-tank missiles are running low, reports say. The United States has sent so many of its Javelin anti-tank missiles to Ukraine that its stocks are running low for possible use by its own forces, according to the study by the Center of the Strategic and International Studies. Replenishing the United States stockpile with new weapons will take years, according to the report from Mark Canacan, the senior advisor for the International Security Program at CSIS. What is the Javelin? We already know. Military planners are likely getting nervous, he wrote. The United States maintains a stock of for a variety of possible global conflicts that may occur against North Korea, Iran, and Russia itself. At some point, those stocks will get low enough that the military planners may question whether or not they have enough to execute battle plans.
Well,
Trust me.
it's interesting that because about a week or so ago, I was thinking about, with all this shit we're sending them, how is it affecting our stockpiles? And one of my coworkers is former Air Force, and his thought is we're just sending them the old shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sending them the new stuff. It is stuff that's actually becoming obsolete.
Yep.
That's what we're unloading.
The stuff that the EOD guys would be put in charge of destroying, because my buddy Zach used to work EOD, and he said one of his jobs was just destroying old ammo, taking the ammo out and blowing it up, grenades, all that stuff.
And the last three stories are a little lighter and a lot shorter.
That's what she said.
She better be a little lighter if it's a little shorter. Anyway, Michigan police are investigating a theft of a lawn ornament. It's not your typical lawn ornament. It's
Concrete
not
duck, concrete goose.
It's not a concrete duck. It's not a concrete goose. It's not a garden gnome nor a lawn jockey.
Hey.
I'm just saying. It is actually that of a Sasquatch.
A skunk ape, if you will.
A skunk ape, if you will. So coming out of Park Township, Michigan, according to the AP,
Is it Michigan?
police are investigating the theft of a 7-foot-tall metal Sasquatch lawn ornament from a home in southern Michigan.
At what height and weight does one transcend the title of a lawn ornament and go to a sculpture?
I think
7 foot.
because it's made of sheet metal, that may be why. I think if it was a full cast, it would definitely be a sculpture.
Okay.
The item was crafted from sheet metal, which was stolen from the home in St. Joseph County's Park Township on or after March 22nd.
He took our squad.
Details seem to be a little fuzzy on the date, according to the Michigan State Police. It has a rusty brown color. Well, yeah, sheet metal in Michigan, probably no clear coat. Makes sense. With various sharp edges
Ow.
to resemble fur of the mystical ape-like Bigfoot. It appears that the Sasquatch was cut away from the steel post with a pair of bolt cutters or a similar instrument. I'm thinking
Sounds to me like
wireless grinder or cutoff wheel.
Sounds to me like a tetanus shot waiting to happen.
The interesting thing is there was a white panel van with a dark driver and passenger side windows.
Yeah, reread that.
Basically,
Reread that.
poor writing.
without
A
the-
white panel van with heavily tinted windows
You're like a white panel van with a dark driver. Say what?
and passenger. The way this is written on the AP, it's like, wait a second. Was observed parked in the area on March 22nd. Therefore, they're looking for said kidnapper van, which is apparently maybe a Sasquatch napper van. But even in a van, how are you going to fit in a 7-foot-long Sasquatch without any parts of it sticking out and being...
Want to hear a bad joke?
Sure, I'm all about bad jokes.
What kind of shoes do pedophiles wear?
Sneakers?
White bands.
White van. Oh, God. You got animals.
That's a TikTok joke, but yeah, I got animals. Bebop's over here.
You've been known
hi,
and
Honey Bear.
accused of having a small zoo.
Yep. It's even smaller now.
Have you ever done a count of all the creatures in your house, taking stock, and find out you're missing a wallaby?
No, I'd be happy because that'd be one last bag of wallaby food I had to buy.
Well, similar to the Memphis Zoo in your home. Actually, similar to your home, the Memphis Zoo has lost a wallaby.
They took our wallaby.
Honey Bunch is the
Well,
name of the
notes.
wallaby who went missing in the Memphis Zoo after storms passed through Tennessee this week has been found hiding.
Now, is a wallaby similar to a koala bear?
I will have you look that up while I continue to.
That's not how you spell wallaby because I got shoes.
Hi. Not as cute as this wallaby. Anyway, he's found hiding in plain sight. It was
Oh.
an area right behind the exhibit. Wallaby did not go far.
A wallaby is a smaller, middle-sized macropod native to Australia and New Guinea, with introduced populations in New Zealand, Hawaii, and the United Kingdom. They look awfully similar to midget kangaroos. They're like kangaroos without the steroid addiction.
Oh, the wallaby.
Yeah.
You know, fucking. Oh, wait. You know what? You getting a little fussy? Anyway,
I could definitely see how an uninformed Westerner could confuse a wallaby with a kangaroo.
needless to say, they've been looking for this wallaby, honey bunch, for a while. And had searched this area right behind Exhibit 7 several times, multiple times in the past 36 hours, but he has camouflaged really well and hidden really well under a bush.
Search the
So needless to say, they have found
And thought I found my
wayward
wallaby.
wallaby, the wayward wallaby. And what happened is the curator happened to find some tracks Friday morning and followed them to Honey Bunch.
A real tracker
We
would have
s-
followed the wallaby's scat pile.
Yeah, well, they suspect maybe there wasn't a scat pile because he was right behind the display. We suspect that he was there the whole time.
And there's that one asshole said, "Ha ha! He's always the last place you look." I hate that guy.
So Honey Bunch was taken to the zoo's hospital and was being evaluated by a veterinarian who did give him a clean bill of health.
And found out it was a girl, and she's pregnant. Imagine that.
What happened was a creek in the Kanga Zoo exhibit overflowed during storms that Wednesday night, and the exhibit was evacuated with the animals moved to the hospital. Honey Bunch and 3 other wallabies will actually move back to the exhibit together in a day or so, and they will move. But Honey Bunch is 21 months old and one of the largest of the 4. So
You call Honey Bunch fat? Can't body shame a wallaby. What's wrong with you?
And last story, it is also animal related. I seem to have almost 3, although one is a lawn art. Venice, Florida.
Right up the road.
Sheriff deputies captured video of a very large alligator
Mm-hmm.
crawling through a front yard in Florida before making its way into a community lake. Maybe that's the one you saw in the lake.
Nope.
The video was taken Sunday morning in Venice, Florida. A Sarasota County Sheriff Office reported on Facebook. Deputies estimated gator to be about 10 feet long. That's a big boy.
Yep.
Sheriff's noticed. The sheriff's official notified Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. They also warned neighbors to be on alert because alligators sauntered down to Harrington Lake to take on Easter morning swim. So it's right around Easter. Big alligator. Don't hide the eggs out there.
No siree.
And that's really because everything else sucks in the news. It's just doom scrolling at this point.
Uh-huh.
And I really don't care about the whole Johnny Depp thing because that seems to be the other big news.
No.
That's all I got, man. That is it for the news.
That is it for the news, and I gotta find my soundboard because I was Googling how to adjust the sound recording option on Audition.
This concludes the evening news, and now back to the ACT Computer Studio in Cape Coral,
Dear
Florida.
God.
Well, see, that's the problem I'm having. All the software on my computer records at a high value, but the volume coming off of my mixing board, which is a USB mixing board, is super low. So I got to figure all
I
that
wonder what
out.
that sounds like on Facebook.
I don't know. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. If you'd like to support the show, support what we do here at the Digital 410 Network, please head over to d-410.com. Click on that Patreon link. Sign up and subscribe, and please head over to YouTube and watch some of our videos so we can get the view count up so we can finally meet all the requirements from the fine people at YouTube to start getting some money off of the advertisements they're playing on our YouTube videos.
You know they're just going to move it.
Yep, they always do. They always move the goalpost on me. But that's going to wrap it up for this week, so thank you guys, and we will talk to you all next week.
This has been a Digital 410 production.